Hi everyone, welcome. My name is Jillian. I am the program coordinator for Mantalks Guide. Welcome to orientation for grade 5, what's bound to be an exciting journey for your young ones preparing for the PEP examinations. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce the lady of the moment, Mrs. Mantalk. She is the pioneer of Mantalk's Guide. I'm going to let her talk to you a little bit about the program, and later on I'll introduce some of the teachers and support that we have for Mantalk's Guide. So welcome, and I hope you enjoy the presentation. If you have questions, you can use the Q&A feature or you can use the chat box, and someone will either address your question orally or written in terms of whatever it is that you're asking. So hopefully we'll cover all the questions that you have throughout the morning. The orientation is only an hour long, but if we don't cover something that you had, a burning question that you had, then you can definitely ask us. All right, so welcome again, and let us have your feedback on how you found this presentation and also your experience when you begin using the website. So Mrs. Mantalk, take it over.
Good morning, parents. Welcome to Mantalk's Guide and this presentation. Grade 5 program.
Hello, food, because sometimes you want it.
Sorry about that.
You can go ahead, Mrs. Mantalk.
Okay, sorry about that. No, as I was saying, the grade 5 program that I have, it's something that I've been doing for quite a while on a Saturday morning with a grade 5 student. It is an additional preparation for the exam. So it is a kind of support system for the school program. I'm not here to take over the school, but I'm here to add my support in terms of what the program will offer. So usually, because in grade 5 they do the performance tasks, I usually focus on performance tasks at the same time focusing on the concept in the subjects that they are going to do the performance tasks in. So usually the performance tasks are in mathematics for grade 5, language arts, science, and social studies. I do some content with them and performance tasks, and this is usually done on a Saturday morning. So the same thing will be done in this program. The program will be for 3 hours. So every week I'll do maths, mathematics, and language, and either science or social studies because it's a 3-hour program. Now because we are online, so like at the end of every 50 minutes, the students will get a 10 minutes break to refresh and wisely exercise and come back. The program has worked well over the years. I used to do it for GSAT, and then I'm doing it for the PEP exam. Because we are in a period of uncertainty, I don't know what is going to happen, but the fact remains I'm still going to continue with the program. And of course, you may be wondering if it is curriculum based. Yes, the program is curriculum based. I work with the curriculum because the exam is based on the curriculum. So what the plans are for now is to do the content, teaching, concept, and the activities will be posted online for the students to do them online. And we kind of will be kind of modifying and creating the performance tasks in a way that the students can answer them online and do the writing tasks online, and it will be marked the same as they get their comments. We tried that with the grade 6 to see how it would work, and it did work. Now, many of you who are maybe hearing about Mantalk's Guide or Mrs. Mantalk for the first time, you may be wondering who is Mrs. Mantalk and what she will have to offer. Well, I've been a teacher all my life. I started teaching right out of high school. So I'm coming into this thing with like over 40 years of experience. So I worked as a pre-trained teacher, as a trained teacher, a graduate trained right up the line. During my experience, I've worked in the primary system. I have a stint at the prep school. My first job was actually in a high school. I work with teacher training with the University of West Indies. I used to work with undergrad students for their thesis and practice teaching supervision. Like in terms of curriculum, in terms of curriculum development, I was a school-based assessor for the last school that I worked for like over 15 years. When it was GSAT program, I used to be an item writer for language arts, and I used to be a marker for the GSAT communication task, it was called then. I worked as an editor for Macmillan Publishing for many years, and with my last stint with them, I am co-author of the new series, the Social Studies book, which is now on the book list for most students because it is the recommended text from the Ministry of Education. It is the second series that I'm doing. Apart from teaching, I've also been a coach. I've been school strategy and schools coach for like 10 years at St. Richard's. I've been to the finals like 3 times and was champion one of the time. I've been a mathematics coach for many years. And my team has dominated the competition for most of the time. I don't know what else, maybe anybody else would want to know. And of course, I've always been doing extra lessons from GSAT and now to PEP. So I've had experience with most of the schools, if not all the prep school in Kingston and St. Andrew and the primary school. And now since we started this program, I've been getting support from other schools across Jamaica. The feedback for the grade 6 the program has been good so far. I'm hoping that I'll be able to do my best to fulfill all your needs and meet the needs of the children. So during this time, we don't feel that we aren't achieving anything and that your children won't be left behind. Now, if apart from what I have said, if there's anything else you'd like to know, I'd asking you to send in your questions.
Some persons are saying that they're not able to hear. Just asking you to increase the volume on your device. Just turn up the volume because we're hearing okay on our end. So just turn it up if you're not hearing.
Okay. So that's the only thing that some persons are not hearing.
Someone is also asking if GSAT is like PEP.
Well, you still have, in terms of grade 6, you still have objective questions. But the difference with the PEP and the GSAT is that you actually have a performance task. GSAT is a one-shot exam. The PEP exam is a 3-stage exam because you have to do a part in grade 4, a part in grade 5, and a part in grade 6. So it's 3 different components. In the 3 years, you have to do 3 different sections of the exam. I remember that this year it was the grade 4 and grade 5 section and only 1 component of the grade 6 exam that was used to place the children. This year it is going to be this batch for this grade 5 set. I know they weren't able to do their grade 4 leg because they were out of school. I do not know how they will doctor or do the grade 5 section of it, but it is, we are hoping to see what will happen. But as I said, my job is to ensure that I teach what is in the curriculum and empower the children with the skill and the knowledge that they need to help them to do their best in the exam. So PEP is a different kind of exam. GSAT was a one-shot exam. You do it at the end of grade 6. The PEP exam is a combination of the grades 4, 5, and 6. But each one is the grade 4 is focused on the grade 4 curriculum. Grade 5 is focused on the grade 5 curriculum, and the grade 6 section is focused only on the grade 6 curriculum. In grade 6, they do the objective exams in the ability tests, the language arts, the science, and the social studies, and they do a performance task in grade 6 in language arts and in mathematics. In grade 5, they do a performance task in all 4 areas: science, social studies, mathematics, and language arts.
All right. The next question I see, Mrs. Mantok, is if you're currently still in the school system. There's some other questions, but we're going to address those in the presentation. So I'll let you answer that one, and then we can continue.
What do you mean if I'm currently in the school system? I'm still teaching. No, I am, whatever I'm doing now is private. I'm not teaching with any school now. I'm freelancing now.
All right, so I'm going to continue the presentation unless there's something else you want to add to address some of the questions that I see coming in, because they will be addressed throughout the presentation. All right. Welcome again, everyone. This is Jillian. For those who did not hear in the beginning, I am the program coordinator for Man Talks Guide. So a lot of the behind the scenes work. Welcome to everyone. We're beginning a transition because of COVID. You know, we've had to move to online learning. Some of you may have been experiencing that at your current schools already. I'm not sure if your school is continuing it online for September, but we are going full steam ahead. As Mrs. Mantok mentioned, we have had a successful grade 6 program already. We're continuing with grades 5 and grade 4. So welcome again. We're going to talk a little bit about your transition to online learning the Man Talks Guide way. An introduction Mrs. Mantok already gave, but I'll just go through a little bit more details as well. Adapting to online learning and some of the expectations of parents and students, and then a few housekeeping matters at the end. All right, so in our intro, she said most of it. I don't need to say it again, but Mrs. Mantok is an experienced award-winning teacher, champion math coach, schools challenge quiz winner, and published editor and author. She has the experience and she's been successful in ensuring that students who pass through her programs not only get schools that they are desirous of going to, but they build their foundation of lifelong learning. So it's not just preparing for PEP, but it's preparing for the rest of their future in education. The Man Talks Guide team, some of them are online. I'm going to ask them to either unmute themselves or if they can share their video. I would love for the students to be able to see them, but you'll see them throughout the course of the program. But just going to go through everyone quickly. Akil, if you're here, unmute and say hello, please, if you can. All right, Akil has stepped away. Clever, I think he went to assist somebody to get onto the program. So when he comes back, he'll say hello. All right. Below.
Sorry, Julian, I'm here. I thought you had to unmute me.
Oh, okay.
So I was waiting on you to unmute because it said, morning, guys. Hope everybody's doing well.
Okay, Akil is the first person in the picture here. And then we have Clever. Clever is beside me.
Hello, everybody.
Clever is Mrs. Mantok's son. He's the head of IT. So if you have any technical glitches, Clever will assist you. We have Odette. I don't think Odette can share her picture right now. She's online, but she's on the right here. Odette is also an administrator for Man Talks Guide. So she helps with a lot of the online support because our program, as you know, we put work online. So we have a team that assists in delivering the work online, a team that assists in developing the presentations and content for you, and then the support team for your WhatsApp messages and your emails, etc. So Philone, I didn't get to introduce you. Philone is our science teacher. I'd love for you to unmute and say hello.
Hi, everybody. Hope you're having a great day so far, and welcome to the program.
Awesome. Thanks, Philone. So Philone Mantalk, Miss Mantalk. So she's Miss Mantalk, and you have Mrs. Mantalk. So when we're doing science, Miss Mantalk is a teacher, and the other subjects, Mrs. Mantalk will be a teacher. And again, I'm Jillian, program coordinator and behind the scenes operator for Mantalk's Guide. But what? Okay, we'll get to that. Sure. All right. So again, we are the team that will be behind the scenes supporting you, and I'll go through the presentation to kind of speak about our roles as well and to tell you about what to expect in the program online. So here is our website, mantalksguide.com. I'm going to just actually go on the website so that you can see what we have to offer when you guys begin to do the program. So everybody should have received their login code this morning. So grade 5, once you registered before this morning, you should have received a code to log in. So just verify, check your email, and let us know if you're having any issues. We're very accessible by email, by WhatsApp, so that we can resolve any issues at all that you're having and get you online and get you learning, right? So we're going to go on the website. When you get that login code, you go to the login button at the top. And I already logged in, so it's going to take me there automatically, but let me log out. You're going to see this screen here. It's going to ask for your username and your passcode, which was sent to you this morning via email. So you should all have that. Then once you press the username and password, you'll see this button at the top that says live class. That's how you attend the classes. And you'll also be able to see the activities and lessons that we have posted for your child to complete. So this one is empty. We're going to start populating the grade 5 one by next week. You'll start seeing activities going up even before class starts for them to log in and try. Until then, you can I'll just show you, the grade 6 login to see what kind of activities we have and what we were doing with them since the beginning of June. We started with grade 6. So this is what it would look like. The students can change their avatar. They can make their picture look a little bit different. You just click on the avatar tab to the left here, and they have an option to change their picture so that they can personalize their experience on Man Talks Guide and still have it tied to their personality. Then you see a screen here that has all the activities that are due. The live class will always be at the top, so the next time you have a class, we're not going to send out any more Zoom links. That was just for orientation, but so you're going to be able to access the class by logging in. That's the only way you'll be able to access it going forward, by logging in and clicking on this button that says live class at the top. So you won't be getting any more Zoom links, right? You'll have to just click on this button. It will still take you to a Zoom class, but it's just done directly through the website. Okay, so you have activities due, then you have activities in progress, then you have activities completed, and submitted would be for the performance task. Because performance task is not graded immediately, we have a submitted queue as well that you can see if the activity has been, you can see if the performance activity has been submitted, and once it's graded, it will move into the completed bucket. So you can see the grade and you can see the teacher's comments. So these are all activities that we've done since June, and your board will look similar soon when we populate them starting in September. There's also a schedule view. So we had the view that you could see what topics or what activities are due. We also have a view where you can see the schedule. So we'll do a similar thing starting with September 2020 for grade 5. I'll be month 1, week 1. You'll see the activities that we post per week. So if you happen to join in week 2, you can know what we did in week 1, and you can start from there. So we'll have, these are the same activities that we had on the home screen, excepting that it's now in a different view. And this view also incorporates the previous lessons. So if you're signed up to ManTalks Guide and you have a valid subscription, you'll be able to see classes that for that month that you, if you missed it, you can go back and look at the class recording. So we record all the classes and we put the recordings here as well. So you'll be able to see that if you are unable to attend a class for whatever reason, but we encourage you to come to class so that you can ask questions and get feedback immediately. All right, then we have the 90s Club. The 90s Club is where our top performing students are displayed. We don't display their names so that we can keep their information anonymous, but we do display their avatar and their grade. So the avatar that the students have made here, if they're in the 90s Club, they will see their avatar up here with the grade that they got. And this is based on exams. The exams that we kept in July, we had comprehensive exams for each subject. And so their exam grade, we found the overall score, and anybody who scored above 90, they were placed in the 90s Club. But we will be having other badges and other rewards based on student performance. We see underneath my avatar, you'll see how many points I have and how many badges I have. So once the students complete their activities, they'll be given badges and awards to help incentivize them to stick to the program and to complete their activities. Because since we're not having face-to-face classes, the only way we can measure student performance is if they do the activities online. And we check the activities, we check what they're doing, and we for grade 6 we had invited them to come to an early class if they found that they were not keeping up with the activities or they're not getting the scores that we want. But grade 5 is 3 hours. We'll be able to pick up on the activities that persons are weak in, and we focus on those, right? So yeah, let's go through a few of the types of activities now. So we have the different views, and we're upgrading the site ever so often. We take feedback very seriously. So if you do have feedback on anything with the site, you can email it to us, WhatsApp it to us, and we do our best to accommodate, because this is a learning experience for everybody. Online learning is, I won't say new, but new for this cohort. We're learning as we go along as well. So we take your feedback and we adjust accordingly. So we've done a few adjustments and we are continuing to adjust. One thing that you can expect coming up as well is the parent portal. So the parents can log in and they can view their child's activity and see their progress against the different subjects as well. So that should be happening in the next couple of weeks, maybe the next 2 weeks or so. We'll be doing some upgrades to the website so that the parent portal will be available, and some other features like the one that I mentioned with the badges, etc. So look out for that. But the activity types now, we generally have 3 or 4 activity types. We have worksheets, and the worksheets are built inside our website. So it has a timer here, and all the worksheets are graded automatically. So it comes in every subject, well, most of the subjects. So we'll have the science, math, the language arts, and social studies worksheets. And the different question types are fill in the blank and multiple choice. And then for performance tasks, you'll be asked to write the answers. So the worksheets come here with a timer and a grid that shows how many questions there are. And if you want to go to any specific question, you can click on that question number and it will take you to that question. And it will show you how many questions you have completed out of the questions that are in the worksheet. So that's our worksheet view. Let's see if I can find a quiz. Our quizzes are similar, tests or quizzes. So we had some tests Our tests are also similar, where it's you see the grid view and you have multiple choice answers, and the student would go through, and this one is not timed, but it will give you an opportunity to complete the test, and you can also click on the number if you want to know where in the test. If you see a number that's missing or something, if you haven't filled in an answer, it will show you over here, because once you start clicking, the numbers populate, as you can see over here on the right. So once you fill in the blank, or once you click on a multiple choice answer, the answer will come up on the grid here, and you can easily see if you have not completed that question. And it will also ask you before you submit, if you want to submit it, it will ask you if you're sure that you're finished, because it will pick up if you haven't completed all of the answers. So that's the test and the worksheet. We also have the lessons. So every time we do a lesson in class, whether it's math, science, language arts, we post the lesson that we did in class as well. So in addition to the recording, we'll post the lesson. And the lesson is, it looks kind of like a PowerPoint presentation. It is a PowerPoint that we use, we convert to what's called HTML. So it can be viewed in the website. And the thing about it is it also has built-in activities. So while they're going through the lesson, it will ask, you click next to go through it, and then it will have questions interspersed in the lesson as well. So for example, this one, forming prefixes, you would type the answer, and it will grade it for you instantly as well. If you hit submit, because I didn't complete it, it told me that I got it partially right, but it grades it instantly as well. And at the end of the lesson, they also get a grade for the lesson. So if you press complete, because I only did one question, that's why I got that grade. So this form, that they get graded on the lessons to show that they have gone through the lesson as well. So we build in a few questions in the lesson just to test that they grasp the concept. And then we'd normally put up a worksheet associated with that lesson, so that we can test them more comprehensively, right? So there's the lessons and the worksheets, the quizzes, and then recordings. You'll see the recordings on the schedule view. So you won't see the recordings on the other view. You'll see recordings here where you can go back through and see the previous class. If you weren't sure about that topic that was explained, you can either view the recording or go back to the lesson. And they can take the lesson multiple times. So if they didn't get a good score the first time, they can take it again, and you can sit with them and see where the areas that they're not grasping. Right? Okay, I see some persons having some technical challenges with the passcode. We will work on that after, just asking that you send a WhatsApp or call us after the class, and we can assist you with that. All right, so I'm going, that's the website. So look out for that. And if your login code, etc. isn't working, again, just let us know and we will sort you out. You can let us know by WhatsApp, email, or phone call after class. All right, so what you will need for class, what tools you'll need to get a leading edge in online learning. So of course, you're going to need a device, a tablet, a computer, not a phone. Our program will not work well on a phone. So if you don't have you ideally need a laptop, a desktop, a tablet. And sometimes the lessons that I just showed you, because of how they are configured, they work well. They're configured to work on a mobile device or on a desktop, but it's better to be viewed in the desktop view. I'm going to show you how to do that in a second if you have a tablet. But if the recommended browser is Google Chrome. First step is to download Google Chrome if you don't have it already. So that's step number one. We definitely need that browser. Any other browser, it's not going to work as well. Google Chrome is free. You just go to google.com and type in Google Chrome browser and download that onto your device. And that's what you will need to access our website. So normally if you see a few glitches and stuff, just make sure that you're on the Google Chrome browser to use it. Of course, you're going to need an internet connection to join, a tablet, again, laptop or computer, Google Chrome, and then of course the students must have their notebooks to take notes. Again, we post all the lessons online, so they should be, if they don't grasp it in class, we use class to deliver instruction. So we teach in class. Normally, I guess they'll be used to writing out every word the teacher is saying. We encourage you to pay attention to try and understand in class, and then the lessons will be up there and they can go back and write down things that they may have missed in class. So we really want them to focus on what is being taught in class, and they should have their notebook to write if they can, and if they miss anything, they can go online and get the information. It's going to be posted afterwards. All right. So these are optional but highly recommended. If you have a tablet, especially, well, if you have a tablet, so if you have a laptop, you'll have a keyboard and a mouse already. But we highly recommend, if you have a tablet, to get a Bluetooth keyboard and a mouse. Why? Because especially in class, we ask them to type their answers. Because of the feature that we're using, Zoom webinar, we find it's definitely better to control the class and to not have intermittent interruptions from students in class, and it gives them more focus to use the Zoom webinar. So because of that feature, we ask them to type the answers. Our classes are very interactive. We'll ask them throughout the class to give their answers and give their responses, and we expect them to be able to do so. And if they have a keyboard, I know the tablet, some persons can type fast on the tablet, but it's better because you have the Zoom screen up to have the keyboard to support that. Optional, but highly recommended, and a Bluetooth mouse as well. So you can get that for the tablet. This is actually a phone here in this picture with a keyboard and a mouse. And this is a tablet here as well with a keyboard and a mouse that's built into one thing. So it looks like it looks like a computer, but it's a tablet and a keyboard. So highly recommended. So yes, I went through that already. Logging in the website, you just click the login button at the top of the website, and that's www.mantalksguide.com. Enter your username and passcode and click on the live class button to get into class. So a little bit about the feature that we're using right now, which is Zoom webinar. Zoom webinar, you'll see buttons that look like this at the bottom. There is a chat feature. So the students are expected to use the chat feature to communicate with the teacher. They say, Miss, I don't understand. We have assistant teachers monitoring the chat. So you see how many teachers are online now. We'll have, you can go into the panelists, the participants view, and you'll see all of the panelists. Those are our assistant teachers and our support. You'll have somebody to see what's going on in the chat. So we ask that you ask your questions there. And if you really need to talk to the teacher, you can say it in the chat and the assistant teachers will answer your question there, or ask Mrs. Bantock or Miss Bantock, depending on who is teaching, for the answer to your question. You can raise your hand. That's a raise hand feature as well. That's an option to let us know if you have a question, and we will ask you to tell us what your question is if you see your hand raised. The Q&A button, you'll see that button as well. So if you have a specific question on the content being taught, you can use that button also. But if you just want to talk to the teacher about something, or if you want to respond to the teacher says to you, type the answer to this question, we want you to type it in the chat, right? Not in the Q&A, in the chat. And if you have a specific question to ask the teacher, we ask that you type that in Q&A. Sometimes we, very rarely, but if your mic is unmuted, we ask that you keep your mic muted. You don't have an option right now to unmute it because of the feature that we're using, but we can unmute your mic if we want to. So if we do unmute it, we ask you that you keep it muted afterwards. Video is off, and you can only communicate with the other teachers. So students will not be able to communicate with each other. That does not seem to work in online learning because they kind of get distracted when that option is available. So they are not available to, they cannot talk to each other. They can only talk to their teacher, right? To help keep them focused. For the students in Zoom, you can raise your hand, ensure you're always polite to your teachers and peers, and you can ask as many questions as you want. We want you to ask questions. We want to understand where you're having the challenges. We're here to help you. So ask the questions, type them in, and raise your hand if you're unsure about anything. Again, don't unmute your mic unless you're called on. No writing on the screen. I mean, that's really disabled, but in case for some reason we're using a meeting and not a webinar, I can't think of what reason right now, but in case there is, no writing on the screen and no sharing of the screen, right, as a student. So online learning, again, is a new thing for all of us. We have the teachers adapting, parents adapting, and students adapting. And if the three of us, the three groups of people work together, we can succeed. And we have been successful so far in achieving online learning objectives. Okay, Mrs. Bantak is gonna answer a question about performance tasks. There's a question here. So I'm gonna pause a little and let her answer it.
Earlier on, somebody asked how the class did. I remember we have had only 2 PEP exams, 2019 and 2020. 2019, we weren't online. I was doing face-to-face that time. And you know, Jamaican people, they tend to think they're doing well. A Campion. Well, 2019, we had 33 children going to Campion, and we had 8 scholarships, including the top boy. 2019, after the time, we were online after the shutdown for 2020. But remember that 2020, the children only did one of the exam, which was the ability task, the ability exam. Most of the children got 100%. And if they didn't get 100%, they didn't get the first choice. So the grades 4 and 5 played a great role. Anyway, I had 29 of them going to Campion, and I got 7 of the scholarships that were given out, including the top boy again. So I don't know if that will kind of answer the question that you wanted to know how, because I think people tend to measure the children and who's going to Campion and who gets scholarship. But most of them got you for their first choice, because other children, they have other choices that are not Campion.
All right, so was that the end of the question, Mrs. Mantok, or there's another part to ask?
No, repeat it.
Oh, some persons were.
I'm going to repeat because some persons had problem hearing. Okay? Yes, earlier on, someone asked how we did in the exam. And I'm reminding you that so far we have only had 2 PEP exams, 2019 and 2020. In 2019, I was doing face-to-face. So, and people tend to measure how well you're doing based on who passed for Campion. And Campion is not the only first choice. So for those who are interested in that, that year, 2019, we had 33 Campion. And we had 8 scholarships, including the top boy. For 2020, the children only did 1 component of the grade 6 exam, which was the ability. So in that one, most of the children got 100%. And if you didn't get 100%, you wouldn't get through for like your first choice. So for 2020, we had 29 Campion, and we had 7 of the scholarships, including the top boy again. So I don't know if that kind of answered the question that people wanted to know, right? So that would kind of give you an idea. So and hopefully now this year we don't know what will happen with the grade 6 with the exam, because they didn't get to do their grade 5, any of their grade 5 exam because of COVID. Your child in grade 5 now didn't get to do their grade 4 component because of COVID. So we don't know what will happen. So I hope that will kind of answer your question based on what we offer and the results that we get. So if it, and remember that it is just after COVID when schools were out that we started this online program. All right? Yes, Jillian, you can go ahead.
Okay.
Is there any other question?
Yeah, I see some questions. If I can recommend a specific brand keyboard and mouse, I'm gonna ask my IT person, Mr. Mantalk, to address that one. If he can let you know. We use Logitech, but I don't know which one is best for the tablet. We use it for the laptop. We use Bluetooth keyboard and mouses as well. So there's some other questions. Will this class allow students that have not grasped all they should have in grade 4 to function at grade 5? Mrs. Mantalk, I don't know if you can address that one. Mrs. Mantalk? All right, I will get that back to her when she returns. But let me continue. I hope everybody still seeing my screen. So what is recommended for students at home? We recommend that they have a very quiet environment to learn. I know it's not always possible, but as best as possible, ensure that they are situated somewhere quiet where they can focus on what is being taught. They should be on time. We start, Mrs. Mantalk, we had said 10, but I think we're going to propose an adjustment to the time to 10:30, a little bit later. I hope the parents are okay with that, but we're proposing to adjust the time for the grade 5 class to 10:30, just to give persons a little bit more time in the morning. Use a raise hand feature to ask questions and the chat feature as well. They should have their notebook and a bottle of water, and again, they'll get their breaks throughout the class so that they are not too stressed out being sitting down for the whole time. And if possible, some children work better with the headphones on so they can kind of focus on what is being said, but I know parents want to hear in on what's happening in the class as well. So just if possible, it might not be possible, but if you can, assist them in using the headphones for class. So parents, how can you help us? The best thing to do is just understand how your child learns. A lot of children, because this is new to them, it might take a little bit of hand-holding to get into the online learning process. So just understand what your child's style of learning and what you can do to support them and incentivize them if you can when they achieve the objectives for the week. You can see their rewards and their badges. So if I know in grade 6, some of the parents said, well, my child will come and ask if he can, get a video game or get a this or get a that or watch TV, and then like, show me all the work you've done on Mantalk's guide, and then you can go and watch TV. So we can use the program as an incentive for them if they complete the work, because again, that's the only way that we can know how they're performing, if they do the work online. And participation in class, of course. We went through some of the class rules already. Be on time and be kind, and we expect you to participate in class by typing when we're asking questions, and we'll know if and someone asked, how will we know if the child is not participating? We have a register every class, and we'll know if you didn't come to class, and we'll know if you're not participating. So please assist us by ensuring that you're joining the class. All right, so Mrs. Mantalk is going to answer a question now. Go ahead, Mrs. Mantalk.
Good. Somebody asked, would you say this program can stand alone if you don't intend to send your child out to school? Well, if you don't intend to send your child out to school, I hope the school is offering something also. I try as best as possible to teach the curriculum, to teach the concept, and to do the performance task activities. But remember, it is only on a Saturday. Activities will be posted throughout the week to support and reinforce what I do. But I mean, in terms of 3 hours contact time, teaching time, I am not going to say it is going to cover all that the child needs to know in the curriculum. Because remember at the beginning, I told you that this program is a support system for what is happening in school. But at the same time, I try my best to assist as much as possible. And the whole idea is to give your child a head and start of what is happening, or to give them an edge over what is happening at school. So do not forget about your school and just use this program alone. I think the child should still be in school. So this is to support what is happening in school. But I pledge to you, I do my best to cover as many topics as possible, and the topics will be there to go over. But in terms of the time factor, I don't see how I can cover the whole curriculum within a certain time, because it is only on a Saturday. And this Saturday we have 3 hours contact time.
All right. Okay.
Another question. Can you tell us when we are having which class, please? Okay. At the beginning, I told it, but I'll go over it. So each Saturday, we do some mathematics, language arts, and either science or social studies. So starting next week, Saturday, we will have our mathematics, our language arts, and our social studies. So it's like we have science or social studies every other week, but we have maths and language arts every week. All right? And remember now what we do in this time in class, the online teaching, it is supported online with activities. So it is not only what we get in class. You have activities to reinforce and to build up. Okay, you can go ahead.
All right, thanks for that, Mrs. Mantak. I think everyone should be okay in terms of what to expect in the online program on a Saturday for 3 hours. Just some housekeeping now, housekeeping items. As the administrator, I'm the one that is responsible for communication primarily, and when you send in your payment information and stuff, that comes through me as well. So I encourage you to check your email frequently, hopefully at least once a week, the email that you signed up for. If you can't commit to doing that, then you can also sign up your student for an email. Some of them do have email addresses. If you feel that your child is responsible enough, you can sign up their email as well so that they can get the information. Because when we post new activities to the website, we will email it. If we have any activity or any special homework or performance task that they should complete by a specific time, we'll email it as well. So we encourage you that the email that you signed up with, that you check it at least once a week so you can see what's going on in the class. I try not to be too overwhelming, but at least once a week, please ensure you check your email. The payment options, we prefer if you pay online transfer to JN Bank or to NCB. And if you are doing that, please include their child's name or student's name in the description box of the transaction. So if you're doing an online transfer and it asks you for a description, please put the student's name in that description. And when you've completed that, please WhatsApp or email us a copy of that transaction so that we can have it on record that you have made a payment so you don't get locked out of class, right? So ensure that you've done that and send us a WhatsApp or email. And if you don't let us know that you made the transaction, then we're not going to be able to tie it back to your account, right? Online is what we prefer. If not, you can actually go in bank to JN or to NCB and you can pay at the ATM. They give that option. All you need is our account number, which we would have emailed to you. So you can make payment there and then send us a copy of that receipt as well. WhatsApp alerts, we also can communicate the activities that are being posted via WhatsApp. It's not a WhatsApp group, so you're not going to see the other parents, you're not going to see the other students. It's alerts. So we will just let you know through our text, through WhatsApp, that we have posted activities online, or that class is about to start, just remind us for you to ensure that you're engaged in the class. And you can send, so you can just send a message to this number and we will add you to the alerts, not a group, alerts. 280-0002. And if you're having any technical difficulties when you're using the site, if something isn't being marked correctly, or if you can't get on, your passcode isn't working, you can also WhatsApp that number or call or text, and we will respond as soon as possible. So again, we're starting for grade 4, grade 5, and grade 6. We encourage you to, let your friends and family know so that they can join our program. For now, we still have spaces for now, but they'll be limited soon. And we want your feedback. We hope you enjoy our online program. It's a learning process for us both, but I think we're off to a great start. We learned a lot from grade 6 and we're constantly improving along the way. Thank you for choosing us to start or continue your PEP journey. And I really wish you all the best and success in the PEP exams to come. So back to you, Mrs. Mantalk. I don't know if there's anything else you want to add.
Well, thanks for choosing Mantalk's Guide, and I'm looking forward to having your children next week. And I hope they'll have a great class, and we will have a very good year together, and that you will just transition naturally into the grade 6 program. Thanks. Okay.
All right, so we have a few questions, Mrs. Mantalk, to answer before we go. The first one was, will the class allow students that have not grasped all they should have in grade 4 to function at grade 5?
Yes, because the curriculum is spiral. So for example, in the mathematics, if you notice it, when they start, the things that they do is like you're building on. And usually when I start to work with the program, I usually start at the beginning, basics. So it is a building on program. So there should be no problem with that.
All right, great. Joshua is asking, because performance task is an interactive subject, very hands-on, how do you help a child individually if they're not keeping up?
Well, when we start the program, we will see the challenges that are there, and then we'll see how we can
best address them.
Doctor the program to suit the needs.
All right, a few more questions. How is the performance task in terms of the writing? Do they write or type? And if they type, how do you address a child just copy and pasting? Well, let me just answer the last part. Oh, copy and pasting is disabled on our performance task website. They can't paste. So, well, they can't paste from it's the way how it's set up, they can't really paste it easily. So they can type it in, right? Okay, yes, so the other part though, Mrs. Mantalk, I'll ask you to answer. How is the performance task? Do they write or type? Yes, they type it.
Yeah, we type it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right. Someone asked, what's the deadline for payment to join the class? The only way
that is yours.
If you're in preview mode, you're not going to see the button at the top. Remember the button that says live class? If you haven't paid for the class, you'll be in preview mode and you won't be able to see that button. So you won't be able to join unless you have a valid subscription. Any other questions? How will feedback on child's performance be communicated? You will have the parent portal up. I don't know if you had joined when we were talking about that, but the parent portal will allow the parents to have a view of their child's performance online. Last term, we had sent out reports. We have monthly reports that we sent that showed how they were performing and how they're performing compared to the other students in the class in terms of the class average. So parents appreciated that as well. Are there any more questions? All right. Okay, so I think that was it, unless anybody or any other questions. Do we have devotion?
No, we don't.
No.
Not.
No, we don't. We just go straight into our class.
Right. We don't have devotion. We start because it's such a short period of time. We really want to get as much work in as possible.
Yes.
So have devotion at home before class. All right, so how do you address penmanship when it's time to sit the exam? That's a tough one.
Help us with that one.
Tamara, I'm not seeing your question. I see you haven't gotten an answer to your question, but I'm not seeing your question. Oh, yes, that's the one about the penmanship. Okay. Yeah, I think the performance task is where persons are having a little bit of a challenge with the online. So we did performance task in grade 6 and the teachers marked it and gave them their feedback. I know persons are thinking about copying and pasting it from the internet, but I can't, how we configure our work, it's not work that is easy to copy and paste. It's to the students' detriment if they copy and paste too. So just encourage your students your child to do the work honestly. We can't be over their heads seeing what they're doing. So let them know that it's in their best interest to do the work in the way that it should have been done. They can use their dictionaries. If they're doing the online lessons, they can use their dictionaries and they can get support to do the work in the lessons. The only time we ask that they don't get any support is when they're doing the quizzes and the exams. So when we have exams, no help. But we want them to learn, so if they need the dictionary to be able to understand a word in the lessons, they can use it. Something else to add? Yeah. All right, so yes. Anybody who is having issues in terms of logging in, let us know after class. But I think that's it. Yes, the recording will be available for those who would like to have it afterwards.
And see you.
All right. Thanks again, parents, and enjoy online learning. See you next week, Saturday.
At 10:30.
10:30. We're going to adjust the class time to 10:30. We'll send out an email as well. All right. Thank you, everybody, for your support. Take care and have a blessed week.